Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. In this video we want to take a look at both charts. In the end I'm going to show you an interesting indicator that I found on the on one of the on-chain indicator websites about Cardano. So we're going to take a look at that. Polygon Matic looking good today, yeah. Overall everything else looking a little bit in the red. I'm sure there are a few other cryptos that are doing well. Helium, for example, I'm gonna do a TA on that as well because I start mining soon. Aave really good as well, but still much lower than its all-time high. So let's start with look at Bitcoin first. If you have never seen my channel before, my view is we are currently in a large correction for Bitcoin that actually started in April. You see these corrections play out in three waves: A, B, C. So we had the A coming down there in July, the B coming up in November, and the C is coming down now. That will push us into a region of 20 to 29k. That C wave needs to be lower than the previous A, and the previous A was here in July, and that was around 29k. So that is why that wave C needs to be lower. Yes, of course, there's a chance that we go up from here and make new all-time highs, and that it gets invalidated. But first of all, to see that, I would want to see a new all-time high, and also it is very unlikely in my view, yeah. So what we currently see here on the chart, I won't explain all my reasons for why I have this view on Bitcoin, because I did that so many times before. But we are currently here in this descending wedge, yeah. So we've come down very strongly. This, in my view, was an impulsive move to the downside. Basically started at downtrend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside in 5 waves. Key question is, have we seen the wave 5 yet? Is the downtrend over, and do we get a little bit of a year-end rally to the upside before we go down, or do we go down straight away? At the moment, I would still be in favor of that move to the upside here, that wave B, which would indicate that we've actually seen the wave 5 already. Reason for that is that that wave C, that wave 4 retracement here was perfect for a wave 4, and it just looks like a wave B, because a wave B is very irrational, looks very choppy, as I said before. Yeah, so, and it does, And what we're doing here is we're running here on a in this descending channel. So this is basically a range that we've got defined support and resistance levels, and it's always a bit subjective. Do you use the candle, just here, those closed candles here, or do you use the wicks, whatever? Can use here this is the 4-hour chart, so we can just use the closed candles here for guidance, and there you can see the descending wedge, which is normally a bullish pattern. So what I would say is it's looking more like, this is currently we are here consolidating, and from here we're going to break to the upside, which would then indicate a push through at least some of these EMAs here on the EMA ribbon. Yeah, you've got all the EMAs here, the daily EMAs, the 13, 21, 55, 89, 144. And from here we would then push through ideally and move into the yellow target area between 55 and 63k. Now a push all the way up to 63k. Not sure if that's going to happen. Ideally you would want to go into the 58k area here. Reason for that is, if we take the fib retracements, then I think this was the 0.618 fib level from all the way to the top to the low there, and there you can see 0.618. It says 0.382 on this chart, but it doesn't matter. It's just reversed for various purposes here. But it's the 0.618, and you've got 58.3k would there be the ideal target area. The 0.618, as you know, is the most likely fib level that you get to in a retracement. And that's what we are stuck with at the moment. We're in a range mark. We need to wait. Had a bit of a sell-off yesterday again, and you can see that we're actually making lower lows here all the way, and also lower highs, So basically you could also call it a channel, but these lines are slightly converging. Therefore a push here to the upside would be at some point expected. Not guaranteed though. And I did say before, if we drop below here 45.7 and stay there, then I think this pattern with the wave B to the upside gets invalidated, and we're moving down further here, and then we wouldn't have seen the wave 5 yet. I think it doesn't get really invalidated, but it gets much more likely than that we push to the downside here, and we're making lower lows along the way. But the 45.7k hasn't been reached. Well, it has been reached very briefly, but we haven't stayed below it. So you can see again how valid that 45.7 key support level was. And then if we talk about both scenarios here, do we go down straight away or first of all up and then down? Both will land in this area. Now, if people ask me, you know, is it really the bear market? I don't think it is the bear market. I think this cycle is going to turn out differently than before. Did talk about it with the channel members before on this channel, you know, in the private live streams especially. And I think we are going to have something like either a super cycle or just an extended cycle. That's how it's looking like, purely because if we come down now, this is just a correction. It's a normal correction. It's just a cool down. The indicators are too high. You know, for example, here on the weekly, you see the MACD still coming down here. We're still very high. I did mention it in videos before that if we get a bearish cross here on the weekly, we come down very hard, you know, and we also had the bearish divergence here on the weekly MACD and the RSI, meaning higher highs on the price, lower highs on the MACD. And if that happens, if that bearish crossover happens, you can fall very high. So that sell-off just needs to happen. But then from there, you basically, what you do is you reset your indicators. You always need to have low indicators to get to new all-time highs. And then also to make sure that you don't get this bearish divergence anymore, because obviously here in that wave one that we did in April, you know, we moved very high also on the MACD. Now to push from here and make a higher high on the MACD is very difficult. That is why we had a bearish divergence. Now that played out, and the bearish divergence then led to the price drop as well, together with the MACD. So from here now we need to move higher. And what are price targets in my view for next year? We take the high of the wave one here on the FIB levels here, the FIB extension tool. And what can we see? The 1.272 would be very likely 81.5k next year, I think. But I think in a wave 3, which we would then do, you know, we currently had, obviously we had here early in the year the wave 1, we're now doing the wave 2, and the wave 3 to the upside would then be normally the longest one, definitely not the shortest one. It doesn't need to be the longest one, but it typically is. The wave 3 oftentimes is an extended one that is definitely going on, you know, normally always going to the 1.618 extension level. This would be the clear 100k that many people expected, but we could also expect here the 200% at 125k, or even the 2.618 extension level at 162. I think all of that is possible next year. So everything, all we do is just, we need a bit of patience with Cardano as well. You know, Cardano is holding currently very impressively here that orange target line. Even though Bitcoin dropped further, we're holding the orange support line, and that is very important. I mean, we can drop below it. If we do, I think it wouldn't be the end of the world, but you can just see how relevant this support line is. We've had support here since the beginning of the year, and it's an ascending trend line, and we're just holding it for now. You know, we are holding it. We still see, luckily, here on the daily, that we get a that we have a bullish cross on the MACD, so that continues to play out, which is very healthy. That we just need some volume now. You know, we now see 4 bars to the upside here. It's unfortunately not going up fast because we don't have the volume. So we just need to be aware. Hopefully, what you get in sideways ranges is oftentimes this crisscrossing. So we had it up here. We had a bullish divergence here. It didn't really mean much. It led, I think, to a short price increase here. You can see that in this one. But also it went up quite fast. This one doesn't really go up, unfortunately. So it could just be a little bit of a fake out bullish cross on the MACD. If we don't pick up from here, at the moment we just seem to be sort of hovering around this ascending trend line, between the ascending trend line and the 0.887 FIB level. That could push us into an ascending triangle here, which would be great. That would then rather push us to the upside, yeah, with the lower support going up, resistance being horizontal. But overall, yeah, we just need to get away from this price. We've got now more than just a double bottom here. The problem is the more often you retest this support, the more likely it gets that you also drop to the downside. So overall, what I do primarily expect, if Bitcoin doesn't pick up, that ADA will go down here from here as well, and retest probably at some point the $1 level. I also have a buy order for Cardano set on Discord for channel members to see. That is a bit lower than the current level here as well. And for me personally, it's just because I did accumulate so many ADA over the time that currently I'm just waiting for lower prices, because I do have quite a lot of ADA already, and I'm also buying other cryptos at the moment. But I think if we get to that level that I put on Discord, then I think yeah, I'm going to go in with more. So this is currently what ADA is looking like. Ideally, you know, you still expect that turnaround in this yellow target area here, from where we then go into a wave 3 to the upside. Pretty much what I just explained for Bitcoin. Bitcoin just started much later with a correction. Now, what I want to show you is, first of all, here on the ADABTC chart, we finally seem to be finding support and might have bottomed out here for the moment on ADABTC. So we've come down here in this channel to the downside. You can see it very well on the daily. Coming down here and now finding support. Yeah, however, it's a similar situation as we had up here, so we just need to be careful. But you get a horizontal here, and if we drop, then you'll drop quite a bit. Yeah, that could then push us below 120, 123, where we are at the moment. Still also what we've been seeing over the last few weeks and months, that these EMAs are pushing us down. Yeah, we need to get above the first one or 2 or 3 of them before we can really see here a breakout. And there have been fake outs before, so also there we need to be mindful of, but generally they provide a lot of resistance here. I think this is what is really pushing us down here, these EMAs. Also, Cardano on the Into the Block website, just want to show you this one here, which is the correlation to Bitcoin. Now, the problem is that Bitcoin is now correcting as well. Yeah, so I did show you that one before, I think many months ago or weeks ago, and we were then not very related or correlated to Bitcoin. Yeah, that was when people were frustrated because the correlation to Bitcoin was quite low. Bitcoin was going higher, making new all-time highs. Cardano was just not picking up. And that was because the correlation to Bitcoin was going down. It was low, you know, we talked about it. Then I made you aware that, you know, ideally we've got this yellow target area on the Bitcoin chart where here we should be turning around, and we are pretty much at a low of a correlation with Bitcoin here, somewhere beginning of November. So I said that works very well together. So if you assume you get this turnaround and you already near a low here on the correlation to Bitcoin, then you should really get a turnaround here. When you get a turnaround here, because it always happens up and down on the correlation to Bitcoin chart, when that happens then, and Bitcoin and yeah, basically, and the correlation goes up while Bitcoin is making new all-time highs, then we should really move out of this yellow target area to the upside and really get that pump. Now the problem is, what we now see is that the correlation is picking up. Yeah, we're pretty much at the high again, but now Bitcoin is correcting. It's just so annoying. So what needs to happen now is that the correlation to Bitcoin goes down again, which will happen shortly. It doesn't normally stay very long in this upper region. Normally it stays in there for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So we've already been there now for 2-3 weeks. So if the drop now happens, yeah, that could indicate that we finally decouple ourselves from Bitcoin. And people have been asking me, you know, what happens, what does need to happen for Cardano to decouple itself from Bitcoin? And to be honest, it happens all the time. You can see that here. You've got these ups and downs here on the chart. It happens all the time. I don't think there needs to be something specific that needs to happen. Typically, we are in this region for a few weeks, and then we just decouple ourselves, and we are less correlated to Bitcoin, then we are more correlated again, and we're now already in this correlation to Bitcoin phase. We've been in there since the 24th of November here at the high. Yeah, so that's already nearly a month, to be honest. And that could indicate that if we drop here, which just happens sometimes, you know, regularly. I mean, in 2021, how often did it happen that we decoupled ourselves from Bitcoin according to this? It happened here, 1, 2, 3, not so much here, but still I count them because it still is a drop. 4, 5, it already happened 6 times. So I think we could see a decoupling from Bitcoin shortly. That is something that can happen, and that is what would, if Bitcoin stays in that level, what would push us higher here Yeah, this is currently just something we need to be aware of. So this just can happen because it's part of the cycle that Cardano decouples itself from Bitcoin. And we have already seen this on the ADABTC chart. You get this time and time again when we've got here Cardano outperforming Bitcoin, Bitcoin outperforming Cardano, Cardano outperforming Bitcoin, Bitcoin outperforming Cardano, Cardano outperforming Bitcoin, Bitcoin outperforming Cardano. So this is just what we can see here currently. So we now need to turn around here, and then we are outperforming Bitcoin again with Cardano. All right, so hopefully you liked the update video about Cardano and Bitcoin. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.